Thanks for stopping by. My name is Joy and welcome to my channel. Today's topic: why is it so hard to leave a toxic relationship? Why do people stay in a relationship that hurts them? Why do intelligent, kind, loving people continue giving chance after chance to someone who continually breaks their trust, disrespects their boundaries, or drains their spirit? If you ever found yourself asking, why can I let go? Why do I keep going back? Why is this so hard? This video is for you. Most people don't stay in a toxic relationship because they're weak. They stay because there is something deeper happening beneath the surface. Today, we're going to uncover the hidden reasons it's so difficult to walk away. And by the end of this video, you may finally understand why you've been holding on. One of the biggest myths about toxic relationships is this: if it's hurting you, you should just leave. Simple, right? Not really. Because if leaving were easy, millions of people wouldn't remain in relationships that continuously damage their emotional well-being. The truth is, people do not become attached only to other people. They become attached to the memories, the hopes, the dreams, the potential, and the identity. Often, you're not holding on to that person. You are holding on to who you hope they would become. And that makes letting go hard sometimes. There are many more, but here are 6 common reasons why it can be hard for you to let go of a toxic relationship. Reason number 1: you're in love with their potential. Many toxic relationships don't begin as toxic. They begin with possibility. You see their good side. You see a glimpse of their kindness. You see moments of love. And your mind creates a future based on those moments. You begin imagining when they heal, when they mature, when things get better, when they finally understand. But here's the truth: a person's potential is not their reality. Many people stay because they are dating the future version of someone while suffering from the present version today. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that someone may never become the person you believe they could be. And that's heartbreaking, because letting go means grieving not only the relationship, but also the future you imagined. Reason number 2: fear of being alone. Let's talk about loneliness. For many people, loneliness feels terrifying. Not because being alone is actually worse, but because it forces them to face themselves. A toxic relationship may be painful, but it's familiar. The unknown can feel even scarier. Questions arise. What if I never find someone else? What if I regret leaving? What if I end up alone forever? Fear can convince us that a familiar pain is safer than an unfamiliar future. And so we stay. Not because we're happy, but because we're afraid. The problem is that fear rarely leads us towards freedom. It usually keeps us trapped exactly where we are. Reason number 3: you confuse what's familiar with love. This is one of the most important points in today's video. Many people are unconsciously attracted to what feels familiar, even when what's familiar is unhealthy. If you grew up around criticism, emotional neglect, chaos, manipulation, conditional love, those patterns can begin to feel normal, not healthy, normal. As adults, we often recreate what feels familiar, not because we enjoy suffering, but because our nervous system recognizes it. Sometimes people leave healthy relationships just because they feel boring. And they stay in toxic relationship because the emotional roller coaster feels familiar. What feels familiar is not always what is best for you. Reason number 4: you keep remembering the good times. Have you noticed something? When people think about leaving, their mind often replay the good highlights: the first date, the laughter, the beautiful moments, the promises, the connection, and suddenly the relationship doesn't seem so bad. But here's what happens. You're comparing today's reality to yesterday's memories. You're measuring the relationship by its best moments rather than its overall pattern. Anyone can be wonderful sometimes. The real question is, what is the consistent pattern? Because your life is shaped by patterns, not moments. A healthy relationship doesn't require you to survive long stretches of pain just to experience brief moments of happiness. Reason number 5, you've tied your worth to their approval. This is where many people become stuck. They begin believing, if I can get them to love me, if I can get them to change, if I can get them to finally choose me, then I'll feel worthy. But your worth was never meant to depend on another person's validation. The dangerous thing about toxic relationships is that they often create a cycle where your self-esteem becomes dependent upon receiving crumbs of approval. You spend so much time trying to earn love that you forget healthy love doesn't need to be earned. Healthy love is given freely. Reason number 6, you're afraid of wasting the years you've invested. Have you ever thought, I've already invested too much to walk away now? This is very common. Years invested, memories invested, energy invested, and hope invested. You don't want all of it to feel wasted. But here's something important to remember. The years are already gone. Staying longer won't get them back. Sometimes we stay because we're trying to justify our investment, but remaining in a harmful situation simply increases the cost. The question is not, how much have I already invested? The question is, what will this cost me if nothing changes? Eventually, there comes a moment when the pain of staying becomes greater than the fear of leaving. A moment when you realize you've explained enough, you've waited enough, you hoped enough, you sacrificed enough, and you understand that no amount of love can force another person to become someone they refuse to become. That realization can be painful, but it can also be liberating because it shifts your focus from changing them to healing yourself. If you're struggling to leave a toxic relationship, remember this. The difficulty does not mean you're supposed to stay. The difficulty means you're human, you're grieving, you're healing. You're letting go of expectations, memories, dreams, and possibilities. But there comes a time when choosing yourself becomes necessary. You cannot build a peaceful life while remaining attached to what continuously steals your peace. You cannot become the highest version of yourself while staying committed to patterns that keep you small. And perhaps the greatest act of self-love is realizing this. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay in your life. Some people are lessons, some people are blessings, and some people teach you the importance of walking away. Because sometimes the relationship you're trying hardest to save is costing you the relationship you have with yourself. And you are far too valuable to lose yourself trying to keep someone else. Have you ever experienced a toxic relationship? Did you find it difficult to leave? Here is a positive, powerful affirmation. I am not defined by what I have endured. I am defined by the strength within me to heal, grow, and begin again. I choose myself. I honor my worth. I trust that walking away from what harms me is a step towards what heals me. I lovingly let go of what I cannot change and make space for the life, love, and peace I deserve. Comment below if you agree. Thank you and be blessed.